In this video, I will be demonstrating how to search the PsycInfo database, which covers topics in the behavioral sciences. It is considered the primary database for locating scholarly or peer-reviewed articles in psychology and related disciplines. It also has citation information for books, book chapters, and dissertations. To begin, we'll start at USF Library's main website. There's a couple of options here, websites for USF Health and USF St. Petersburg libraries. So if you want a specific campus library, click on those links. I'm going to start our search at the USF Library main website. There are a couple of ways to get to the PsycInfo database. You can start by clicking Databases and then either type PsycInfo here, or you'll be able to click APA PsycInfo from here. You can also go to the subject and course guides, and by subject, and if you scroll down to the psychology guide, you'll be able to get to the APA PsycInfo database from here as well. The research guide is actually very helpful because not only does it link to the most common databases to find articles, but on the side here it also has lots of other information for different types of resources that you might need while doing research in psychology. But for now, we're going to focus on PsycInfo, so we're going to click this link. Now that we are on the PsycInfo database page, you'll see that there's all kinds of different ways to limit our search and create a very focused search. We'll start at the top where we have our search boxes. This is where we'll put our keywords. And when we scroll down, you'll see ways to limit your search. So you can limit your results by linked full text. You can click peer reviewed because most articles that we're going to look for will need to be peer reviewed. There's also different options down here, and some of these are very specific to PsycInfo, such as population group. You'll see human, but you'll also see animal because there's a lot of animal testing and animal research in psychology. You'll see things like inpatient, outpatient. So these are different search terms that you might see, different limiters you might not see in other databases. You can also limit by methodology. So if you're going to do a clinical trial, an empirical study, a longitudinal study, so there's all kinds of different options in here. So you can limit your search by the type of methodology. Some of the other things is age group. So there's different things from childhood all the way to very old, 85 and older. So you can limit your search that way. These are all just different options. You can do it now in the beginning of your search, or you can do it later on in your search. So let's go ahead and start a search. We're going to use the key term sleep deprivation. We're going to start our search very broad, so we're not going to do anything else to it. We're just going to search. From our initial search, you see that we have over 5,000 results, and that's a lot. That's more than we'll get through, and there's probably plenty of stuff in our search that's not relevant to what we're looking for. The first way we can limit our search is by year. We can say we want from 2016 to 2021, just the last few years. And just by doing that, we're already down to just over 1,000. So we did get rid of a lot, but this is still a really big number, and we're still going to want to narrow our search down a little bit more. Maybe we're interested in sleep deprivation in college students. So we might use that limiter for the age range. So we might come down here and say, okay, well, college students fit in young adulthood, 18 to 29. So we might click on that. So that's brought it down a whole lot more. Our search is definitely becoming more focused, and some of the things that we might want to do now is think, all right, what part of sleep deprivation am I interested in? So we might start looking at the different subject terms to start getting an idea for what we might search. These terms are controlled vocabulary terms, but they help explain what the article is about. So of course, it's always helpful to read the title and then read the subject terms: anxiety, major depression, short-term memory, caffeine, cognitive impairment. So it gives you a good idea. And we might click into an article to see a little bit more information. So if we do this, obviously you have your title, your authors, the article, the journal is in, the volume, the year, so 2021, this is a very recent article. We can see it's 13 pages long. You'll see there's also keywords. So these are kind of like subject terms, but these are not controlled vocabulary. These are terms that are usually created or given by the author to describe what the article is about. But these can be other options for you to find other terminology to do your searches. And of course, the abstract, I always encourage you to read the abstract because if the title and the subject terms or keywords aren't as helpful, giving you an idea what the article is about, if you read the abstract, it definitely will. And if you do that first, it can save you time instead of having to maybe read a 30-page article and then say, you know what, this article really wasn't what I was looking for. If you just stop at the abstract and say yes or no, you'll be able to focus your search. Again, it'll give you your terms, your population, your location. Here's age group. Here's where we put 18 to 29, but we can also see this article also covers up into the 30s as well. It'll tell you what kinds of tests and measures were used, the methodology. So there's a whole lot of information in this that can be helpful. We're going to go back to our search and let's go ahead and narrow it down a little bit more. Let's say we are interested in depression. Do a search. So it brought it down a little bit more. At least we're getting closer. We're narrowing it down, focusing our results, which is great. And as we start going through, we might say, you know what, I think we might be interested in college students, which we've already determined. But as we saw when we looked at that last article, sometimes the age groups, although that 18 to 29 was in there, it also went to another age group for the 30s. And college students typically are 18 to say 22. This will narrow it down for us a little bit more. That's maybe a little too narrow. So what we might need to do now is broaden our search a little bit more. We have to think of other ways of saying college students. And you can see here, this is college students or university students or undergraduates. If we click on that, it's going to search for articles about sleep deprivation, depression, and college students, but not just looking for that one term. It'll look across all the different types of terms now. And that should give us a few more results. So that's still pretty narrow, but hopefully out of these articles, they're going to be useful. They're going to be the articles that we can use for our assignment. And of course, if we need more, we'll have to play with the terms a little bit more, look at the subjects. We can always look in the bibliography if we find an article that's really good and see what kind of information they're using. So another couple things, if we click in here, there is this option for citing articles. So we can click on this and we can actually scroll down to say AP 7th edition, and here is the citation information for this article. So you copy and paste that into your Word document for your article. You can also export your citation information if you are using a citation management software such as EndNote or Zotero or Mendeley. This can be very helpful, citation management tools, because it will collect all your citations in a specific location online, and it'll create your citations for you, create your bibliography. A lot of times it'll do things like create in-text citations appropriately as well based on the citation style. So it can save you a lot of time and work by using one of those. And there are tutorials and such on how to use those if you choose to. If we go back to our search, you will also see that there is this option for Find It at USF. And if you click on that, it's going to be how to get to the full text of the article. So we'll do that, and you'll see it says you can view online the full text available, and lists it in a couple of different databases. So you can click on one and then you'll see the articles here. And if we click that, you'll be able to read the article, download the article. Now when we go back to our search results, besides the Find It at USF, there's also sometimes things where you see HTML full text and PDF full text, and I do suggest if PDF is an option, whether here or if you have to access it through the Find It USF and get to it the article that way, download the PDF of that article, because in case you forget how you did your search to get to that article, if you save it as a PDF, you can have that file saved in a folder somewhere or email it to yourself, but you'll always be able to get back to it without much thought. I do hope that you found this helpful for using PsycInfo, and of course, if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to contact a librarian.